figures, guiding light, readers and seekers in the night. Hopes and fears, written in gold, truth appears, the stories unfold. Let the cards turn around, the stories we have found. In the shadows we dance, take a chance,
Good morning and welcome to the My Tarot Morning Reflection, our daily inventory. Hello, Maureen. And a chance to take a breath and check in with the universe. So, our chance to take a look in a mirror using the tarot. And just reflecting on what we see and how we're feeling for the day. You know, I was having a discussion yesterday about the reading, and what was it that anticipation isn't clarity, it's a rehearsal. And we were talking about that, and you know, how we sometimes create in our minds a story that's going to happen. It's that self-fulfilling prophecy, or, you know, it goes along with like manifesting, whereas if we decide that it's going to turn out bad, it's going to turn out bad. Good morning, Divine Timing and Angela. Good morning, Divine Timing. Hi. So I was just talking about, you know, if the anticipation, if we decide that something is going to turn out bad, it generally does. So as we were going through that, and I've had quite a few several discussions, and I was thinking, wouldn't it be kind of fun to, like, or not fun, but interesting, maybe to like to get together once a week and talk about the readings. So it's just something I'm kind of putting through my head, because I get a lot from them, and I try, and I end up having discussions with people, for good or bad. I mean, I have when I do a reading, I try and turn off my filter, and that way I just write what comes up, and without, you know, the filter or anything like that. But sometimes it's just interesting to see how they go with the week, and, you know, what conversations might come up. So I'm thinking about maybe doing something like that, so we can all just like reflect on the week kind of thing. So anyway, that's me being silly. What are we actually here to do today is take a breath. Oh yeah. Well, that felt good. Listening to the cars like they're the sounds of the ocean. Now that I've done rambling. But yeah, I'm thinking about a conversation of once a week maybe. Then feet flat on the ground. Butt doing the kitty dance, so that we got our butt nice and comfortable, and our shoulders relaxed, and our neck relaxed. And then we go into what people are actually here for instead of hearing me. And that would be to see what the universe has for us. And reading the tarot is about turning the filter off. It's trusting what the cards say instead of not trusting. Or as I like to say, active thinking versus passive thinking. The moment I'm not sure and I reach for a book, that's going to active thinking, and my brain, the alpha waves completely change, whatever alpha waves mean. But when we're passive, it's just we're trusting. When we meditate, it's just about trusting. So I'm going to make our 3 stacks here. Each one a different thread going out to the universe. It's like each one is a different thought or idea. And if we believe in the multiverse, it's like each one of these is a different path, because this stack here will lead down one conversation. This stack a totally different conversation, and this one's going to go down a totally different path. So Divine Timing, where are you from? You can kind of throw that out there whenever you get a second, because I'm curious. Today, let's take the top stack, or what I like to think of as things that are right in front of us, but we don't even see them. And I'm going to do our 3 and 1. Letting it settle in. I'm going to flip each card over one at a time, like we're reading the pages of a book. Mississippi. Well, welcome, welcome. I think one of the biggest thrill for every child in the United States is when they learn how to spell Mississippi. Mississippi. I just remember that as being like one of those really early words, and it's like being able to spell it. So, first card. Here we have our 6 of Swords. Swords are our thoughts. Swords are our ideas. And so when we reach 6s, again with the numerology, because I just like reminding people and reminding myself that we go from 1 to 10. And sometimes we're sitting there, it's like a hill, and we try and go over that hill. And then 5s are always a challenge. And then we reach 6. And when we get over that hill, sometimes we need a bit of a mental break. Sometimes it's like we realize we've accomplished something. Sometimes it's just one of those things where we get to take a breath. So this is a card of taking a breath. We can see this person in the boat. They're being guided along. We can't even see anybody's faces here because it's just one of those things where we're just like a chance to take a breath. And I like how Pamela Coleman Smith has the water's rough over here, smooth here. And so this is one of those cards where even though we have 50 things that might be stressing us, sometimes we just find a moment to take a breath. We find something positive that gives us pause. And when we take a pause, we start finding some clarity, right? Doesn't mean anything around the world has changed except ourselves. Nothing else in the world changed but ourselves. And when we do that, then we can start to focus on things like the magician. You know, when we're in the middle of something, we may not realize we have all the tools that we might need. We got a wand, a sword, a cup, and a coin. And so the magician is about taking the things that we have. And I was talking earlier about manifesting, about creating something out of nothing. If we are rehearsing in our heads the fact that something negative is going to happen, we create something negative. But here is when we take a breath and realize, take stock of what we do have, and we realize, you know, what can I do with what I have? Not what I wish I had, but we have skills. We have talents. We have things like that. So taking that breath, we move to the 4 of coins. So coins are about home, health, finances, and all those things that keep us grounded. And 4s. 4s are like 4 legs on a table. 4s are stability. 4s are, well, it's pretty much that. It's like stability, because if we look at this card here, now the way Pamela Coleman Smith has this card, she has somebody that looks like they're being greedy, somebody that's like somebody who is being almost selfish. But sometimes we need to lock ourselves down with what we have. So let's say, for example, we have something in our home that needs to be done, something that we would need to do. We take a breath, take stock of what we have, and then allow ourselves to pause. Allow ourselves to not feel like we have to go. We can move forward at any time. But when we have the 4s, we have stability, It's about what do I have, not what I wish I have, not anything like that. And then what do we need to do? So it's about taking stock of what we have, finding that sense of stability. But let's see what the advice card is. So think of the Four of Coins again. It's about being conservative, right? Well, here's the Hierophant. And the Hierophant, or the way it was originally called, was the Pope. This is about stability. So me personally, I've always had this thing against religion and all this stuff like that. But we need to look at what the meanings really mean. And so when we look at a church, or we look at the Hierophant, or we look at the Pope, what is it that they teach? They teach us tradition. They teach us our rules. They teach us stability. And so you can also think about the Hierophant as being, then where else do we have to exhibit these, where we have to live in these? We have to live, whether it's a business or, the law. This is about the traditions that we follow, the things that we are taught, the paths that we're shown to follow down. And it's about staying true to what we've learned. So for today, it's one of those things where we take a breath and we look for that inner magician inside ourselves, which is the talents we do have. It could even be something as, it could be about being a musician, but it's about creating something. It could be about taking stock and saying, at least I can do this much, if it's with our home, if it's with our job. And just finding some place to make us feel settled. We can move away from the Four of Coins once we've taken stock of where we're at. Once we have a chance to take a breath. Sometimes we need to go with what we have learned and kind of go on autopilot. So today, instead of breaking rules, instead of doing today is about, what do I need to do to be conservative with my life? To not be frantic, to not be all over the place, to be able to take a breath, take stock, and think about the things that make my life or your life stable. What is it that makes our lives stable? And if we can get that feeling before we make any decisions, then we can see tomorrow's cards to see where to go from there. So today, taking a breath with the Six of Coins, taking stock with the Magician to see what we want to manifest, and giving ourselves time to do that. And again, this is about learning about traditions and about what are the things we know that do keep us stable. What is the things that we have learned from others that we can follow? So with that, it's just a day of pause and reflection. But keep in mind that we have in the center here our two majors. These minors, these are just day-to-day cards. But today we have our talents and who we are, even if we don't realize it. And then we have the stability of where we came from and where we're going and what we've learned, the positive things. So with that, have an amazing day. Thank you, everybody, and I will be talking to you tomorrow.
Stars in the sky, cards in my hand, searching for signs, lost in the sand, whispers of fate, echoes of dreams in the dark slate. Nothing's as it seems,